Draymond Green getting ready to go for the Warriors in the rematch with the Toronto Raptors. That'll happen a little after 10:30 Eastern time in Oakland tonight. Raps on the second stop of a four-game Western Conference road trip, which began with a win in L.A. against the Clippers last night without Kawhi Leonard. And unfortunately for folks who want to tune into that game, for folks there in the building as well, we'll see if it's unfortunate for the Raptors or not, but he will not be available again tonight because of that bruised right hip. Welcome in. It's Game Time Live. That's Grant Hill. That's Steve Smith with the festive jacket on tonight.
Christmas season.
It's Christmas, very Christmas.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Holiday.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm Matt. Good to have you with us. What do you think? You know, he was injured last night. He was out of the game last night. Let's assume, for the sake of this discussion, because we've kind of had it earlier tonight off the air, that he could have played tonight and could have played reasonably well without a significant risk of injury. What are the pros and cons to playing him or not tonight?
You know, and first to start off, we're not talking about his injury because we don't know if he's injured or not and how severe. And obviously he's been playing this season, but I'm just looking at it as time when I played. It's so huge. And we were talking about the other day when the Celtics beat the Pelicans without basically 4 or 5 guys in the rotation.
5 rotation guys.
And it's kind of go back, and I'm sure it was before my time, but the most recently playing for Greg Popovich, when he would sit guys and then the Spurs would still win games. It is more than a win, I would tell you that, Matt, for the team who wins, and I think it's more than a loss sometimes when you have your starters out there going against basically the second unit and they still beat you.
No, I mean, Smith, it's interesting. It's gamesmanship. Obviously, Golden State played Toronto well in Toronto without Steph Curry. And so now, you know, okay, maybe we come full strength with Kawhi Leonard and we lose. You know, what kind of message? I think that would have a tough impact on Toronto as if they try to prepare for them down the road in the finals. And so leaving Kawhi out and not letting him play. Look, if you win the game, that's icing on the cake. But if you lose the game, you know what? Okay, we didn't have our full strength. We didn't have our best player. And so I just think it's not about getting to the finals. I think Toronto's thinking about how can we win a championship. I think the rest of the guys have improved. I think, you know, we talked last night, Matt, about Kyle Lowry, maybe him less scoring, more facilitating. To beat this team, you're not going to beat them with 2 guys. You're going to need a team effort, guys playing well, playing at a high level. And so, yeah, I think there's the gamesmanship involved with all of this. And whether he's hurt or not, the idea, I'm not mad, as Smitty had talked about, with the idea of leaving him out and seeing what can happen. And let's be honest, they played as well as they played all season, I thought, last night.
They were great last
against
night,
the Clippers.
Yeah. 34 assists, just 9 turnovers last night. Showed off the depth, which was really impressive. Ibaka was great offensively. Lowry scored again. Just for the sake of argument, how much can be gained on the Golden State side if Kawhi had played tonight? If he's out there and you're thinking down the line, it would have to be a finals for the two of them to meet again this season. But how much is to be gained from one meeting if it were to play out tonight?
I think for Golden State, it doesn't matter as much.
Right.
I think because they've won, they're champions. They've taken on, you know, obviously, arguably the greatest player in the game, LeBron James. I think they understand what it takes, and they are the favorite. And so for them, it's just about getting back their spirit and their joy, which, you know, Steph is back playing like we know he can play. Draymond's coming back. So, you know, it's about having that spirit and playing at your best when it matters most in the postseason. And I think they will be there and be ready. But for Toronto, there's a lot of sort of mental hurdles they have to overcome. They have to, you know, have success in the postseason. They have to get there. And then, yeah, you're going against this juggernaut here. You want to feel good that you have a chance, not be satisfied by showing up, but feel like, hey, we're in it to win it. And so I don't know if it's an advantage so much or if it really matters to Golden State. It matters to Toronto.
By the way, that Raptors win came against the Golden State without Steph Curry and without Draymond Green. So if they get the win tonight, the reverse is true. No Kawhi Leonard on the floor. But if he had played, again, going back to that hypothetical, how much is to be gained in terms of strategy? Here are our guys on the floor. Here are your guys on the floor. What are we seeing? How much are coaches willing to reveal in those matchups if they're thinking ahead?
You know, Matt, and I'm glad you brought that up because there's so much to this because you have Steve Kerr's established coach, also a guy who's been around. Nick Nurse, who's I think is a fantastic coach. How much can he hold back his playbook and his strategy when you're
Right.
a first-year coach, trying to gain trust with some guys that, even though a lot of guys know you from an assistant coach standpoint, they don't know you as a head coach. Then I think also is for Toronto, other than Kawhi and Danny Green, a lot of these guys have to prove they can win big ball games down the stretch in the playoffs when it matters. And why not let this group play against the Golden State Warriors to see where they are?
If you're the Warriors, how much can you go to school against the Raptor team that had Kawhi, if that were the case tonight? In other words, your scouts are going to watch them a million times. You're going to have all their plays by the time you meet in a theoretical NBA Finals. How much does it matter that you see them or don't see them at full capacity in the regular season?
The one thing is they've seen Kawhi individually, and so
Right,
you have
right.
tendencies on him and Danny Green because they're in the Western Conference. But now you want to get a chance to see them with the Toronto Raptors. You know, a lot of times it's not even something on the court. I know playing against guys, you know when you see the guy and they're calling the play, he doesn't really want to get open. There was a little thing you say, this guy really doesn't want it. There's
Right,
different
right.
things. There's a guy that doesn't want to get fouled at the end. He kind of looks away and rolls. There's certain things you just pick up and you get a chance to talk. And that's why you always wanted to play, to pick up some of the things that we won't really see as far as plays. And who argues, who gets upset when they don't get the basketball, when they don't get touches. Those are the things I know we used to pick up on.
If you're handicapping this right now, how likely a scenario is this that these two meet again this season?
You know, I think it's very likely. I mean, I think obviously Golden State, you have to, pencil them in, or maybe write in pen, that they'll get to the finals. I think obviously Toronto, there was a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
What's this team going to be like? A new star in Leonard, a new head coach in Nick Nurse. But I have been impressed. I think they're more athletic. I think they score. They're more diverse in terms of their scoring. They're just a better team than they were last year. And I thought last year in the regular season they were really good. So this team is primed for a finals matchup. I don't know if they can beat Golden State, but
Right.
I think right now, I know Milwaukee's in the picture, Philadelphia, Boston's they're starting to figure it out, and you know they will figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But this team, there's something going on here that's unique and kind of special, and I think there's a good chance. If I'm a betting man, I probably would go with Toronto at this point.
For me, Matt, real quick is Boston Celtics, first, second, third, fourth options, we kind of know.
Right.
Philadelphia,
Right.
first, second. Toronto, first, second. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think, and even as well they're playing, this is no knock on Toronto.
Right.
I love everything they're doing. If you can pencil in, if you look in and crystal ball, who's the first option? Kawhi.
Yeah.
Second option, Lowry. At times hasn't been that consistent in big games, but I think he's playing
He's had some
extremely well.
some bad playoff games.
Then who's the third option?
Maybe Siakam. I mean,
I was going to say Ibaka.
maybe. I'm not ready to pencil.
But when you start saying maybe,
Well, and I was going to say maybe Serge Ibaka, but Siakam should be in
Yes.
the most improved conversation
Yes,
as it is.
for
He's
sure.
been fantastic.
For their case-
But is he ready for that?
We shall see.
On a conference champion? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree.